All right, ready to dive into a career path I bet you've never even thought about. Veneer grading, how about that?
You're not far off. It's definitely a niche field.
For sure. And you've brought in some really cool stuff. From RoleCatcher, they've got these deep dive career guides. Plus, they help you get ready for interviews, even have tools for the job hunt itself. Perfect when we're talking about something as unique as this. So first things first, what does a veneer grader do?
Okay, picture this someone super carefully going through stacks of those thin wood slices, that's the veneer, and they are hunting for any little flaw.
Any little thing.
Yeah? Knots, discoloration, cracks, anything that shouldn't be there, they're on it. But it's more than just spotting problems. It's like understanding the wood's personality.
Oh, so like almost like a jeweler checking out diamonds.
Mhm.
You need that eye for the tiniest detail and really know what makes for top quality.
Exactly. Veneer graders, they're the ones deciding how good each sheet is. They're grading, that's what sets the value and how it can be used. They're looking at how even the grain is, how rich the color is, even how the light hits the surface. Like, say you've got a walnut veneer all swirly and patterned. That's going to be graded way higher than a plain, boring piece.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
The guide mentioned there are different veneer grades, which got me thinking, what skills do you even need for this? You don't just wake up knowing this stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Sharp eye is key, obviously, but then you need to know your wood species, the grain patterns, all the ways things can go wrong. A good veneer grader can tell you if the wood came from the middle of the tree or further out, and how that affects how it'll look years later.
Sounds fascinating, but intense. The guy did mention some pros and cons. Good salary, possible travel, that's awesome. But then, it's physical work, can get repetitive, and there's dust, maybe even chemicals involved. Not a cakewalk.
Definitely not glamorous, you're right. But it takes real skill and knowing a natural material inside and out. And that travel part, that can be a major perk. Visiting mills, checking out suppliers all over, finding the best stuff, that's cool.
I hadn't even considered that side of it, like being a wood detective or something, tracking down the perfect piece across the globe.
That's it. And with everyone wanting sustainable, ethically sourced wood now, veneer graders are even more important. Not just quality, but making sure the materials are good all around.
Adds a whole other level of responsibility to the job. Speaking of which, I'm curious how your career even grows in this field. The guide mentioned different stages, from starting out to senior positions. What's it like for a brand new junior veneer grader? Lots of learning on the job, I'd imagine, like an apprenticeship almost.
Yeah, for a junior grader, it's all about the fundamentals. Working right there with the experienced folks, getting a feel for each type of wood, how the grading works, and just training their eye to catch those subtle cues. It's hands-on, building that gut sense of what makes veneer stand out.
I bet. So then as you get better, you take on more by yourself. How does that play out in this line of work?
As you move up, you might be the one showing the ropes to new hires, working more directly with the production side, maybe even finding your niche, a certain type of wood or how it's used.
Niche, like you become the person for figured maple, used in instruments, or that super rare rosewood for fancy furniture.
You got it. That's when it gets really interesting. People need your expertise. You might even talk directly to furniture designers, instrument makers, helping them choose the right stuff.
So you're like a veneer consultant, practically. Not just looks, but how it'll hold up, how it ages. That's wild.
And then at the top, you've got your senior veneer graders. They've seen it all. Graded more wood than you can imagine. Their word is gold.
What makes them so special? Just years of doing it, or is there something more?
Well, they have that deep knowledge of wood, veneer, everything, but they're also leaders. They mentor others. They're the quality control masters, making sure the whole grading process is running smoothly, accurate. They might even be the ones traveling to the mills, checking out the logs even before they're sliced, making sure quality starts at the source.
There's that travel again. I bet senior graders have some stories from those sourcing trips.
Oh, I'm sure. Can you imagine going deep into some forest in Asia, checking out these teak trees that are going to be someone's high-end furniture someday? Or going to a sustainable forest up in Canada, picking out maple that'll be a musical instrument? It's a global thing.
It's crazy how a job that most people have never even heard of can take you all over. And speaking of getting the job, RoleCatcher goes beyond these guides, right? They help people actually land these unique gigs.
That's right. They have this AI-powered platform that's amazing for prepping for interviews. Think about it. Practicing your answers to questions that are specific to being a veneer grader.
Especially for a job where it's all about what you see and how you explain it. That practice would be huge.
Exactly. That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It checks out how you're answering, tells you what to work on, even gives feedback based on the company and the job description. So you go into those interviews feeling good, ready to show off what you can do.
That's incredible, taking the guesswork out of it, giving you a leg up. But let's be real, these fancy career platforms can get expensive. What's the deal with RoleCatcher?
Way more affordable than you'd think. RoleCatcher actually gives you a ton of features, totally free. Their basic account, you get those detailed career guides, the AI interview prep, even that RoleCatcher capture thing.
No way. Seriously. That's really putting it out there. So anyone curious about this Veneer Grader thing could check it all out, no cost.
Totally. And if they want even more help, like one-on-one stuff or the super advanced features, they can always upgrade. But honestly, that free version's a great start for most people.
Wow, RoleCatcher's really on top of it. This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. We started with his job, super specific. Most folks wouldn't know where to begin. But the more we dug in, the more there was the skill, the global connections, those unexpected career paths. Makes you appreciate all the work behind the stuff we see every day.
It's true. Every job, even the ones that seem kind of hidden, they've got a whole world behind them, something cool to discover.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, any final thought you'd leave our listeners with? Something to chew on as they go about their day.
Next time you see something nice made of wood, could be furniture, an instrument, even a really well-made cutting board. Think about where that wood's been, all the steps. And remember, those skilled folks, those veneer graders, they're a big part of making that beauty happen.
Now that's a beautiful thought to end on, taking a second to appreciate the craftsmanship, the expertise we don't always see. Thanks for coming on this deep dive with me. It's been a pleasure exploring the world of veneer grading.